I cannot believe the absolute state of gaming, and I always thought things would get better as companies like Sony, PlayStation, Xbox, all these studios would realize, you know what, we need to start making games for our players, for our audiences. I really did think it was going to get better, but I cannot believe the news coming out of PlayStation is that the PlayStation has been out for nearly 6 years at the end of this year. And for the first time in like history, consoles are actually going up in price rather than down. And I just think this is unbelievable, the state of gaming and how expensive gaming is. With the next generation, is going to be a very weird generation. Sony cannot go and say, and these big companies can't say, they make these consoles and then start blaming everybody else on why people are not buying these consoles anymore, because everything is getting expensive. So if you like these daily videos, make sure you hit the like button and let's go. So there was a rumor the other day that there was going to be a price hike for the PlayStation 5, and I was thinking, oh gosh, really? After 5 and a bit years of releasing, how is this technology not going down in price? Now I know we've got the AI debacle where these freaking companies are buying up all the RAM. So you know what? Let's just forget about actual people that want their own computers, that want to invest in their own entertainment systems. Because yeah. The future of AI, that's all we care about. And that's all we care about is basically maximizing profits. But with Sony, we're going to look at the prices, but I honestly think they should at least be honest on why these price increases are coming, because with all of those studios, with all of those games that they've made, and they've made the wrong decisions, I wouldn't mind a little bit of accountability in thinking that, yep, we made some bad decisions, so this is why we're doing it. So let's have a look at the prices on what they were before and what they are now. So literally 5 years into the lifespan, from the 2nd of April, these prices are going up, and I won't be surprised, and I would advise, if you were thinking about a PS5 Pro, I'm bringing out a video literally today on Crimson Desert, and I speak about that when we do comment of the day and how much more enticing it is becoming to buying the PS5 Pro if you only game on your PlayStation like me. I feel like a lot of people will now go and buy a PS5 and a PS5 Pro because of maybe GTA 6, because the prices are getting out of hand. So here we go. As of 2nd of April, if you're thinking about buying something, just buy it now. So for a base disc PS5, it was $549.99, £479.99 in the UK, and 549 euros. It is now going up $100 to $649.99. And in the UK, it's going from 480 to 570 pounds. Oh my gosh. And it's going up to 650 euros. This is freaking nuts. You know what? They cannot complain when people are not buying these $60, $70 games, when now that these are the prices to literally play these games on. A digital version was $499.99. It's gone up $100. 429 pounds in the UK. It's now 520 pounds. 499 euros, and that's gone up 100 euros. Now, the PS5 Pro, we all spoke about the PS5 Pro, and for me, yes, the price was expensive. I was more pissed that you had to buy a damn disk drive and a stand separately, because I knew it was going to be expensive with Xbox raising their prices. But now, if you thought it wasn't worth it at launch, it was $749.99. It's now $900 for a PS5 Pro. Oh my gosh. In the UK, it was £700 without a disk drive and a stand. £790, nearly £800 for a PS5 Pro. It makes you think, should I buy another one? That is extortionate. And it was 800 euros. Now it's 900 euros. Now the PS Portal is now going up in price. I said in that video how much worth it is for a PS Portal. Now that's going up from £200 in the UK to $220, $50 in the US, from $199 or $200 to $250, and from 220 euros to 249, well, 250 euros. This is absolutely crazy. I cannot believe now it's an extra £80 for a PS5 Pro. So as you can see here, this is what they've said. With continued pressures in the global economic landscape, we've made the decision to increase the prices of the PlayStation 5, PS5 Pro, and the Portal globally. We know that price changes impact our community, and after careful evaluation, we found this was a necessary step to ensure we continue delivering innovative, high-quality gaming experiences to players worldwide. And obviously, they give the prices here, and that's all they have said. Obviously, we've got comments here. I can only imagine how expensive the PS6 is going to be, and we're going to come on to that. But you know what's crazy? You're telling me that there's no impact from all of PlayStation's decisions. Yes, of course, the global market, the AI, the RAM, I get it. There's going to be price hikes, whether that's partially an excuse for them just to putting it up to cover their own backsides. Because I'll be honest, you're telling me they've spent millions of pounds in Concord. They've spent millions of pounds with Blue Point Games doing a live service game, Naughty Dog doing a live service game, all of these closures, Bungie, maybe with Marathon coming out as well, not delivering. Say all their studios were working on single player games and they were a success and they were selling millions and millions of copies. You're telling me they would have decided to do these price increases anyway? It's hard for me to believe that they still would have done that if everything was a success in regards to Sony and their first party studios, because I wouldn't actually mind if they took some responsibility and actually said, you know what, with some of our decision making as well, because you're telling me that has not made an impact in this decision to increase these prices. That's the problem with these corporate companies now. You know, PlayStation aren't the same company as they were in the PS3 when they got humor into their ads, you know, with like borrowing games. It's just such a shame where gaming has become, because it is an expensive hobby now. Don't get me wrong, it is a very expensive hobby if you want to keep up to date with all the latest games. It is. And I do feel like they're preparing people for what's coming with the PS6. I just hope they understand with the new generation, this is going to be completely different. It's going to be a completely different scenario, because they can't be surprised when their console comes out and it's at least £1,000. If it's nearly £800 in the UK for a PS5 Pro, you're telling me the PS6 is not going to be at least £1,000, or there's going to be two editions where one's £1,000 or $999, and then the premium one is, you know, £1,200. I do feel like they're preparing us, because they're thinking, you know what, this is where gaming is going to be. I do not believe for a second they're going to sell as many consoles as they've been doing with the PS5. I know it was like during COVID when the PlayStation 5 came out. I didn't think it was like, don't get me wrong, everything's expensive, but I never thought once I was surprised by the price of the PlayStation 5. I didn't think, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous, I can't believe how much it is. But this next generation is going to be completely different, because they're not going to sell as many consoles. Are they going to go the route of Xbox where it's just for premium players? Because who can afford £1,000 new generation console when, with everything going up in the world, you know, petrol prices are going up with the war. Oh yeah, the RAM shortages and these damn AI companies, and oh yeah. So tech is going up and computer parts. It's like, it's ridiculous how much is going up. And then on top of that, you have all of these subscription services that quite a lot of people are fed up, including myself. You have the living situations going on with rents, mortgages. It's just, I hope they understand where they're going in the next generation. But to be honest, they really do need to look at their own studios and their own AAA games and find a way to reduce these budgets. Now, I know Ghost of Yotei supposedly costs the same amount of Ghost of Tsushima, but with what we've been hearing with some of these AAA games of how much Marathon has cost, and it's estimated that it's cost between $200 and $300 million to make Marathon. And for that amount of money, they've only sold around 1.2 million units, with majority being on PC and Steam. Now, I know they're going to go back around and focus on console exclusives, which I do think is a good idea. But for live service games, I think it's a good approach, literally selling it on every platform. That must be a must. Costing 200 to 300 million to develop Marathon, and not to forget how much they actually acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion, because they thought, you know what, live service games are the way forward. You're telling me this has not made an impact on those really bad decisions? It makes you think now, why did they buy Bungie? Like, if they had any sense, and I know we've gone over this many times, because they should remember what they built their reputation on, story-driven games. If they bought studios or maybe indie studios and thought, you know what, these studios are making amazing single player story driven games, let's bring them into our PlayStation family. But then you look at what they've done with like Blue Point Games, where I do believe they had the potential to make something really good if they weren't kind of pushed or even forced to make a live service game. Like, some of the budgets of these games, they need to find a way and understand that these games should not be costing. Now, Crimson Desert cost around $133 million US. So you're telling me Marathon cost between 2 to 300 million, and Crimson Desert, which my video is literally coming out this afternoon, has cost 133 million US dollars. My point is, they've been wasting money on these lame games, these lame live service games, and hiring people who don't know how to do their jobs clearly. And it's already sold 3 million copies, and with Marathon, they've just sold 1.2 million. I just wish they would be a bit more honest into why they're doing this, because it's not just the economic conditions. It's not just because of what's going on in the real world. It's because you've wasted millions of pounds. You know, supposedly Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon Forbidden West cost more than 200 million. It's ridiculous. It is literally ridiculous. They need to figure this out for the next generation. You can't be having these ridiculous budgets and then you're relying on 5, 10, 15 million units sold, and they only sell like a few million. And what's even crazy is that they think the decisions to follow the live service route is safer. At least with a story-driven game, you can improve it. Like I won't be surprised when Crimson Desert has reached 10 million copies sold. Finishing off with the PlayStation 6. This will be, and I promise you now, this will be at least $1,000. I was surprised months ago when we said, oh my gosh, £1,000. It can't be. It can't be. I won't be surprised now, because now that they've increased these prices, the PS6 will be 1,000 plus. I thought they were going to try and maybe keep it cheap, and maybe they will with that handheld, but I don't think a lot of people will be up for that. And personally, would I rather have, in going into the next generation, I want to play the PlayStation 6. I'm excited. I don't want to get a handheld to play the games worse. Like, I want to play on the PS6, because I want the best experience of these games. I don't think a lot of people, I might be wrong, maybe it'll be like the PS Portal, but I don't think a lot of people will be up for, let's just have a worse experience so I can afford this if it's at £500, for example. So there was an industry researcher, Joost van Druen, agrees, explaining we're quickly moving towards a world in which a $1,000 console will be the norm, and console gaming will be a luxury expenditure. They really don't want to raise prices on their hardware, because that part is usually a heavily subsidized part of the equation, and sales of the games is the gravity point of their revenue models, because they usually sell them at a loss. I predict that the next generation of console hardware will start at a 50% higher price point than the current one. So could we see $1,000 pricing? Sure, that's possible. I would really hate to see that, but it's possible. For the record, all the reporting around the PS6 suggests Sony has attempted to build a more cost-effective console, but its work could be undone by the global economic environment, with wars waging, AI, as we've spoken about, key components, and inflation through the roof. This feels like the worst time to be launching a next-gen console. I just honestly would love for them to admit all of the mistakes they've made, because you have to put it in that. You can't just say all of that and you're telling me the millions they've wasted on all of those games and live service and studios. That's not influencing their decision. If the price is going to be like that, they need to delay the PlayStation 6. At least wait till 2028. That's just me. They need to wait longer for the PS6, because a lot of people are not going to buy it unless they thought, you know what, I'm not going to sell 80 to 100 million units in its lifetime. But I just think it's absolutely crazy where we're going with gaming. It's becoming so expensive. It's becoming a luxury. And for me, I was thinking as well, I'm so engrossed in Crimson Desert. There's games, Saros, I want to play. Like the James Bond game I wanted to buy, Wolverine, we've got GTA 6, we've got Phantom Blade Zero, Kena Bridge of Spirits 2, or I've forgotten the actual name. That one for me is a must play because it's an indie developer. That is a ridiculous amount of games that I would want to try out. And to be honest, I'm just going to be careful with what games I'm going to be reviewing. Oh yeah, I want to buy Forza Horizon 6. Fable looks amazing. Definitely won't be buying Starfield when that comes out, because I've got no intentions of playing Starfield unless people say review it. But again, I'm a part-time YouTuber, so it's going to take some time before this becomes a full-time job. But what do you think of the price hike? What do you think about the prices from PlayStation? What does it look like for the next generation? I want to hear all of your comments below. Will you buy the PlayStation 6? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know.